The probability that we are living in a simulation is very high. Nick Bostrom, philosopher, Oxford University. That sentence didn't come from a science fiction novel. It wasn't written to shock. It wasn't meant to entertain. It was written as part of a philosophical argument. When people hear the word simulation, they usually think of movies, artificial realities. But the idea itself didn't start in fiction. It started with a much simpler question. If technology keeps advancing, what becomes statistically likely? This video is not about proving that reality is a simulation. There is no proof. Instead, it's about understanding why serious scientists and philosophers are even willing to discuss this possibility at all. In 2003, philosopher Nick Bostrom published a paper titled, "Are You Living in a Computer Simulation?" His argument is often misunderstood. He did not claim that we live in a simulation. He constructed a probability model. The logic goes like this. If intelligent civilizations tend to survive long enough, if they develop extremely powerful computing technology, and if they have any interest in simulating their own past, then simulated minds would eventually outnumber biological ones. At that point, from a purely statistical perspective, being simulated becomes plausible, not proven, not certain, just possible. This is not belief. It's math applied to future assumptions, and this part is important. If any of those assumptions turn out to be false, the entire argument collapses. That's why the simulation hypothesis is not a scientific theory. It is a conditional argument. If these conditions are met, then this outcome follows. Philosophy alone did not keep this idea alive. Physics added another layer. Over the last century, scientists discovered that reality behaves in unexpected ways. Space and time do not appear continuous. They seem quantized. There may be a smallest possible unit. Information plays a fundamental role in modern physics. In some models, information is more basic than matter itself, and there are strict limits. Maximum speeds, maximum densities, boundaries that cannot be crossed. None of this proves that reality is simulated, but it does suggest something important. Reality behaves like a system governed by rules. Then there is consciousness. The hardest problem in science. We can measure brain activity. We can map neural processes. But we cannot explain why subjective experience exists at all. Why there is something it feels like to be you. Some philosophers and neuroscientists describe consciousness not as a window onto reality, but as an interface, a simplified representation, optimized for survival, not for truth. This does not imply simulation, but it raises a question. If we already experience reality through a filtered interface, how would we even recognize a deeper layer underneath? Simulation itself is no longer theoretical. We already simulate weather systems, economies, evolution, human behavior. Each year, these models become more detailed. The question modern researchers ask is not whether simulation is possible, but how complex simulations could become over time. There is no known physical law that forbids detailed world simulation in principle. That does not mean it will happen, only that it is not ruled out. Everything up to this point is established research, philosophy, or technology. What comes next is interpretation, not fact, not evidence, just questions that emerge once these ideas exist. People sometimes point to experiences like déjà vu, or coincidences that feel unnervingly precise. Science explains déjà vu as a memory timing error, and coincidences as probability. Those explanations are sufficient. And yet, some people ask, what if these experiences feel strange because our intuitions evolved for a different kind of reality? This is not an argument. It is a thought experiment. The simulation hypothesis does not imply that life is meaningless. A simulated experience is still an experience. Pain still hurts. Love still matters. Choices still have consequences, even if reality were artificial. Meaning would still be created by conscious beings. The simulation hypothesis doesn't tell us what is true. It explains why the question exists, and why serious scientists and philosophers are willing to discuss it without laughing, whether reality is fundamental or derived from something deeper. You are still here, thinking about it, and that might be the most real thing of all. See you.